Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting draft. I think there's gonna be a lot of moves made.
I do too.
I don't think a lot of the teams who currently hold high picks are going to hang on to those high picks with the players that are going to be available to be shopped around. Mm-hmm. Guys like Mitch Marner. I think we're probably going to see some moves.
I do too. I think it'll be a very... Like last year, there really wasn't a whole lot of movement in the draft.
No.
Especially the top 10. I think this year's top 10 will be a little different.
Well, I think it was one of those things that draft last year had a pretty darn good top 10.
That too. Yes.
It was pretty high-end skill. Mm-hmm. I don't think, at least I've seen as much talk about the top 10 of this year. Obviously, it's kind of rare you don't see a solidified number one overall guy. Mm-hmm. And although Matthew Schaefer is most people's number one.
Yeah, consensus.
Is the consensus number one. I don't think it's as big of a gap.
Yes. It doesn't mean that he's going to get picked first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like last year with Macklin Celebrini, or you go back 2 years with Connor Bedard, it's like those two guys were clear number one picks.
Yeah. There
was no chance in hell the team who ends up with the first overall pick is passing up on those guys.
Yeah. And we kind of we had Celebrini, Bedard, and then before that was that Slav. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one, that draft was not solidified that Slav was going to go number one. And frankly, he shouldn't have got number one. The
certified Slavkovsky haters.
He's playing great, but there's definitely other players, and it's still early in their career. It's hard to say, but
I don't know. I think this is going to be an interesting draft here.
I do too, and I'm excited for the movement. I'm excited for all the shifting, and Utah has a fourth pick, which was a big jump for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's hard to say that they're going to solidify. Like, they could move that pick too.
I think that's a team, if they want to be smart with their pick, they should probably trade down. I don't see them needing another high-skill center.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys that you could go with that are still kind of ranked somewhere around the top 10.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't be too much of a reach for. But if you're going to be reaching outside of the top 10 for a player, I think you should probably utilize that trade bait in the fourth overall pick, just off a Bob McKenzie ranking that gets you Anton Frundell.
Yeah.
I don't know if Utah needs another high-skill, very talented center.
Yeah.
They already have two of them in Clayton Keller and Logan Cooley, and I'm just not sure if that's who they need. The only player I could see them keeping that pick for is, I think, a Porter Martone.
Yeah.
Type of player, big, physical right winger, can kind of slot into that lineup in multiple different spots and complement it perfectly.
Yeah.
But if he goes to one of the teams in the top three, there's not really a guy I'd be...
If you're Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I want to maximize that value out of that pick.
Right.
And I think trading down to, say, a 10 or 12 spot, if you have a guy in mind that you're going to reach for, I think would make a whole lot more sense than holding on to it and picking at 4.
Even swapping with the Kraken, because they have some good defensemen they might be able to pick up.
Yeah.
Because Utah, I think Utah's goal this year should definitely be playoffs. I thought that was their goal, probably was their goal last year, but I was kind of not confident that they could make the playoffs, but I was like, they definitely could make some noise and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think this year is for sure, if you don't make the playoffs, then it's kind of it's a bad season. Yeah. This year, it's not as bad of a season. Obviously, you're picking fourth.
First season in Utah.
Yeah. You're picking fourth overall, so you didn't lose.
No, I think at the end of the day, the spot they ended up with, they built off of the prior season in Arizona.
Yep.
They're bringing fans in the building now, which is huge for that franchise. There's excitement around that team, and they were a lot better than they were the prior season.
Correct.
So I think it was a great building year for them. Obviously, you jump in the draft. That's not going to happen every year.
Yeah.
But you got a very, very, very good piece, whether you pick a player or whether you trade.
Yeah.
fourth overall picks bring a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
You could trade to get an active player that's going to help your roster right now.
Yeah.
Or you could pick somebody that's going to develop in a few years and hopefully help your roster. There's a lot they could do with it, but I think I don't know if holding on to that pick is in their best interest, because I think their goal should be all out to win and to make it into the playoffs and have some postseason action. That'd be huge for a new team. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to the Good Old Hockey Podcast. Thanks for clicking on the video today. Be sure to hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 100 subs by free agency, so really need your help. Try to get that goal. Today we're going to be breaking down the mock drafts. We're going to be playing a little game and then also talk about the Stanley Cup Final. Be sure to follow us on Instagram as well. We have a lot of fun stuff on there, so follow us there. The username's right down here. But that being said, back to the episode. All right, well, we're going to do this. We're going to do a mock draft, but it's going to be a little different. Me and Alan are going to get either the odd spot or the even spot, and we're going to pick for each of those teams. So instead of us just giving a top 10, who we think, we could steal each other's picks, or, if he had someone going to the Predators, but I picked him 4th overall, then that screws with his mock draft. So it's a little different. We're going to get a minute to pick. I don't think we're not going to go into trades, trading.
No,
I'm not going to give you.
So Utah's going to trade down to Seattle.
I'm going to trade Matty Beniers, and
Seattle gives Utah Capo Caco. No,
for the 4th overall pick. No trades. We're just going to pick in their spot. How should we do this picking order, or just who gets odd and even? Because I think both of us want the Sharks.
Yeah.
To pick them. So,
I think we both know who we're taking.
Because I think we both have the same mindset for the Islanders and what they need. I don't think I'll spoil it. We both don't think that Schaefer should go first overall to the Islanders. Yes, it's a little biased, but also at the same time, I just don't see Schaefer needing to go first overall to especially for the Islanders. If they were the Blackhawks or obviously the Sharks, I could see that, but I don't know. It's just a risky pick. I don't think that Schaefer played enough games to really show off that he is that he's willing or should go to the Islanders. 17 games played, 22 points, solid stat line, but he was hurt for most of the year. He played great the year prior. But yeah, I don't think the Islanders are gonna. I don't think they should. I think they will, but I don't think they should pick him first overall. And again, I'm very biased. All right, we're gonna flip a coin. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay, it's flipping. And it's tails.
Oh, so you get to pick first.
You get to pick first. Well, you get to pick. Do you want odd or even?
I'll pick first.
Okay.
I'll go odd here.
All right. I'm going to set a timer. And once you hear the noise, you're on the clock. I don't even think we really need to. You probably aren't going to take the full minute, but you're on the clock.
Okay, so I have some points to make here.
Okay.
I know who I'm picking if I'm the Islanders, but if you look through their roster of who they have as of right now, they have some pretty top talent defensemen. You have Noah Dobson, who is probably a top 10 defenseman in the NHL right now. He's fantastic. He's still young. He is a right-handed defenseman, which is very, very desirable. It seems like every single team in the NHL could use a top-quality right-handed defenseman. It seems like top talent left-handed defensemen come a lot more easily than right-handed defensemen, right?
Right.
So you have your number one overall guy. You do have, actually, the Islanders are kind of stacked with right-handed defensemen. They have Adam Bachquist, Tony DeAngelo, Scott Mayfield, and Ryan Pulock, right?
Yep.
They have 4 left-handed defensemen. They have Adam Pelech, Scott Perunovich, Mike Riley, and Alexander Romanov. They have a solid defensive core. They have their goalie of the future, Ilya Sorokin. He's going to be around for a long time. Their team is kind of built around defense. And if you look at their forward core, they have 3, maybe 4 kind of like premier forwards in the NHL. They have Bo Horvat. Anders Lee is very good. He used to be a little better than he is now, but he's still very good. Matt Barzal and maybe Anthony Duclair, even though he hasn't really worked out in New York.
Yeah.
Right. So probably 3 guys. I think a team like this could really use a forward over a defenseman.
I agree.
That being said, a lot of these guys are centers. So I don't know. Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal are both centers. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this would be the way that they would go, but I think Michael Misa fits that team a whole lot better than Matthew Schaefer. I don't think they're going to pick Michael Misa.
Right.
But if I am the Islanders general manager.
Yeah, again, you're the GM in this situation.
I am on the clock. I'm looking at my roster construction, what we need. I am 100% picking Michael Misa.
Awesome.
So that is who is off the board.
Congratulations. The first overall pick goes to Michael Misa.
Side note, James Higgins is not in the conversation. I think Michael Misa has set himself apart from James Higgins when it comes to forwards in this draft.
Yeah. You can't pick the hometown kid first overall. If they were second or third, sure.
If it was a conversation that we were having between Matthew Schaefer and James Higgins, I think it would make sense to pick James Higgins. I don't think the talent gap is that close to where you can make that decision. I think Michael Misa has kind of set himself apart.
And Michael Misa
forwards.
He can play wing. Like, he doesn't need to play down the middle. Like, we see that a lot where, unless they're like a huge play, these players can play all around.
Yeah.
And they're young too. They're not going to be taking faceoffs against NHL professionals.
I think Michael Misa, up until this past season, was playing on the wing in the OHL.
Okay.
They switched him back over, and he had this massively dominant season where he was by far and away the best player in the OHL.
Yep.
So I think that kind of, I think he will be a center at the NHL level. He kind of reminds me of like a Macklin Celebrini. I know that's a wild comparison to make because Macklin Celebrini's 18 too.
Yeah.
Or he's just turned 19. But he kind of reminds me of that type of player who I see him driving the pace as a center in the NHL and driving play. But either way, first overall pick, Michael Misa.
Awesome. Cool to see. All right, now I'm on the clock. Sharks pick. I'll give myself a minute to talk about this pick. It's very obvious. Sharks. I'm excited to watch him next year. We're both Sharks fans if you're new. I think, this is the perfect draft if Schaefer does fall this far to pick him second overall. The Sharks have a very good core of forwards, and the defensive piece is all we need, really. We have good prospects like Sam Dickinson, which honestly, I'm really excited for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets some minutes this year. I got 30 seconds. But
I ran way over a minute.
Well, I should have just set the timer for you. We'll have a minute to discuss about it. 10 seconds left. All right. With the second overall pick, the Sharks are selecting Matthew Schaefer. I don't know why.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Sharks got him. Oh, my God.
I love making our own draft.
I know. This is awesome. All right. Minute on the clock to you, and you are the third overall Chicago Blackhawks.
Okay. So if I'm the Chicago Blackhawks, I am not thinking about positional drafting. I might be thinking about players to pick who play with Connor Bedard. They have some pieces. They have like Frank Nazer. They have a couple pieces on their back end,
right?
Who are coming in. They're younger guys. But I think if I am the Chicago Blackhawks, my main priority is getting somebody who is going to complement Connor Bedard, no matter what position they play. And I think that there is a guy kind of in this area that fits that perfectly. It's Porter Martone. I'm a big fan of Porter Martone. I've watched a lot of him play. I think he was helped out a bit by playing with Michael Misa in the OHL. Yeah. But he's still fantastic in his own right. Big physical power forward who still has all the talent in the world to be able to play with Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
But he can do all the gritty things that 5'10", 5'11" Connor Bedard can't do.
Yeah.
I think that is the perfect piece to pair alongside of him.
Awesome.
Porter Martone goes third
overall. All right. Porter is off the bat or off the board here. All right. So those first three picks were pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now, fourth overall, Utah Hockey Club, or actually, sorry, Utah Mammoth. Forgot they changed their name, which I'm kind of a fan of, kind of not.
Should have been the Yeti.
Should have been the Yeti. But I digress. All right. So the issue for the Utah Hockey Club, Utah Mammoth. That's going to be weird to adjust. I just want to call them the Hockey Club.
Yep.
But, their issue, like we said before, is, who do you pick?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of really good centers. Obviously, Allen took Porter Martone. I would have taken him.
He fits a lot of these teams in 4 through 8.
Yeah.
Where they have some pieces down the middle, besides maybe Boston.
Yeah.
Boston doesn't have anything. It's tough.
Yeah. No, it is. All right. Looking through these prospects, though, we got Caleb Desnoyers. I don't even know how you say that. Anton Frindell. James Hagen's on the board, too. But again, just that center position. Okay, we're going to take a center as the Utah Hockey Club. We're going to take a center, and we can move players around. Their position isn't set, but I do want a guy who is a little bit bigger because I don't think Logan Cooley or Clayton Keller are the biggest of men.
Mm.
I don't think that they're...
Pause.
Okay. They don't have the movement going on. No, I'm kidding. With the fourth overall pick, the Utah Hockey Club selects Caleb Desnoyers. He's a 6'2" center. I've heard some things about him. He's a traditional center, not a goal scorer or anything like that, but let's see his stats on this year. He had 56 games played and 84 points, 30 points in the playoffs, 19 games played. That's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely 21 assists in the playoffs, 49 assists in the regular season, 35 goals in the regular season too. So he's pretty good mix. But yeah, I think Utah just needs some size. And I don't think Anton Frindell would have been a bad pick either.
Yep.
He's 6'1", and shorter. But yeah, that's who the Utah Hockey Club is going with. I truly think in real life they're going to trade that pick, but
yeah,
if they didn't, that's who they're going to pick with the prospects left on the board. All right, so now you are on the clock. Oh, your favorite, the Nashville Predators.
All right. The Nashville Predators are in a very interesting position here.
Yes.
Because they're a team that should be rebuilding, and they should just blow it up, frankly. I don't think they're going to do that. But in an ideal world where they commit to just rebuilding the entire roster, I think you have to pick the best player available. I think you normally have to pick the best player available, even if you're a team that's still competing.
Yeah.
But I think it's way more important when you're, fresh off of a horrible season where you tried to retool your entire roster.
Yeah.
And failed miserably, Tim. So I think that the Nashville Predators should pick Anton Frindell out of, I think it's Deer Gardens in Sweden. Very talented centerman. He's kind of in the middle as far as size goes, 6'1", 205 pounds. As an 18-year-old, that's really solid.
Yeah.
He's good two-way. He is an extremely fast player. If you watch him play, he skates like the wind. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Just very, very, very good overall player, and you kind of see that coming out of Sweden a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a huge pick for them. I could genuinely see Nashville taking Frindell in the actual NHL draft because I don't think Utah's going to take him. And I think that's probably where he slots would be sub 5.
Okay.
But yeah.
Awesome. All right. The Nashville Predators have selected Anton Friendel, which means he's off the board. All right. Now on the clock is the Philadelphia Flyers, who recently, as of today, just acquired Trevor Zegras. So, Trevor Zegras, who I think that could be a whole nother topic of discussion, Trevor Zegras, and how his career's panned out. Again, he's been in Anaheim, and they haven't really had much of a team around him. They've had a bunch of young kids, but he's like kind of their youngest star, if you want to put star in his name. But I think for the Flyers, it's between Higgins and Jake O'Brien. Higgins, the problem is, I think he's going to go back to BC another year. I don't think he's going to jump to the NHL.
Don't think he's ready.
No, he's not ready. And frankly, I don't think any of these players after the top 5 are ready to make the jump.
No, typically not.
Yeah.
There's one guy I think who is. We'll get there.
Who's left?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay. If you've got your eyes on someone who's draft ready, you might want to take him next. Or NHL ready. But I just don't think James Higgins is a great fit for Philly. But Jake O'Brien, reading his description here, I don't know much about him. But per Elite Prospects, which is a great website if you guys don't use that, you don't know puck.
Don't look at mine.
Yeah, don't look at Alan's Elite Prospects. But
It's brutal.
quote, O'Brien spots the tiniest seams between skates, under sticks, and above them. So he's got great vision. He sees through multiple defenders behind his back, spotting teammates running at the back post, attacking a few steps late. When he can't spot a lane, he creates it, shifting defenders or faking a shot before dropping pucks to teammates. That sounds like a perfect fit for Matvei Michkov needing a center. So with the 6th pick, the Philadelphia Flyers select Jake O'Brien, 6 overall. He's 6'2" center. He had 98 points last year in 66 games, 66 assists, 32 goals. Assists per game guy, which is, Philly's still, I want to say they're still kind of deep in their rebuild. I don't think I think the Sharks are further ahead of them, but they have a great Matvei Michkov, great pick there. So I think getting someone that is highly touted, and it's tough because I really don't think this draft class is that great. I think the top 5 is pretty solid, but outside of that, I don't know. Who knows? I could be very wrong. This kid could go off to be a Leon Draisaitl or who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the Philadelphia Flyers pick, 6 overall. Now you're on the clock, 7th overall Boston Bruins.
So this might be stupid that I'm not taking James Higgins in this position.
Really?
Boston's in kind of a spot where they can do one of two things. They can just pick the best player available. They are, I think at this point, they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
So they can pick the best available player, or they can pick a player who kind of defines their team moving forward. Right. Boston's always kind of been seen as this team that's physical. They play heavy. Obviously, you had a guy like Brad Marchand for 15 years who helped that a lot. Talented, physical team. If Boston wants to stick to that kind of persona, I think they're going to pick Brady Martin of the Sioux Greyhounds in the OHL. He's a high-scoring forward. Let's see here. Just pull up his stats. 72 points in 57 games as the assistant captain of the Sioux Greyhounds last season. He had 11 points in 7 games at U18 World Juniors. But the big thing about Brady Martin is he's not on the smaller side. He's like 6 foot, 185. Yeah. Elite Prospects has him at 187. But he plays physical. He runs a lot of people into the boards, runs a lot of people through the boards. He uses his size and his body well.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the biggest guy. He's not like a, Zdeno Chara type where he's going to run everybody, going to almost kill people, Max Pacioretty into the boards, but make a lot of hits, make it hard to play against the Boston Bruins for the future, and he still has all the talent in the world to be able to put up points at the NHL level. And I think that kind of physicality is going to help him put up and produce at the NHL level, whereas you look at a guy like James Higgins where it's pure skill. Yeah. Right? Connor Bedard, he's going to get around to it. He's going to learn the game more at the NHL level, but we're kind of running into this issue where he's very small. Yeah. And he's not the most physical player. And it's going to kind of hold him back, at least for a bit, until he learns how to use that size. This is a guy who I think could jump right into the NHL. Yep. Maybe not produce at the same level that he is in the OHL. I mean, if you look at his stats, it's nothing that's jumping off the page and going, wow, he has 200 points in 60 games. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Or 160 point, whatever McDavid put up in his draft year. But this is still a guy who physically could play in the NHL this upcoming season. Okay. If not, probably be another year down in the O, or he could go play college and continue to kind of build on that physicality, put on a little bit more weight, and be able to use that kind of tenacity more effectively. So I think he's a good fit for Boston, at least if they want to keep that kind of persona as a team. Right. That kind of DNA.
Yes. Okay. I like that. The DNA of the Boston Bruins. Yeah, because they're, I mean, it's really tough. I don't know what the Bruins do moving on forward, because it's like, I mean, you have a great pick here, 7th overall, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to make playoffs. They could shock us, and it could be like a Sharks 2016 thing where they make the Stanley Cup Final next year. I don't know. They still have a solid team. It's just, who knows? There's still free agency. A lot of stuff could happen. Yeah. But, all right, the Boston Bruins select Brady Martin, 7th overall. Now, the Kraken are on the clock, 8th overall pick. This one, you made my job pretty easy. I don't feel like you can pass up on this kid anymore. No. At this point, and honestly, I think it's a great fit for the Kraken. James Higgins, he's going to go back. He will play BC again, which I think is needed because he didn't have the greatest freshman year. He came in being one of the top 3 names, top 2 names. Like, he was supposed to go 1st overall, and Misa was like 2nd. And he just did not have the greatest season with Boston College. But I think this coming year will be different for him. I think he'll get some more experience. It's tough though because he was playing with Ryan Leonard and Gabe Perreault. Yeah, they're gonna be gone. And those 2 kids are studs. Really, they carried Boston College along with Will Smith when he was playing.
That could work out to his advantage, though, because those 2 guys are going to take up, I mean, most of the scoring, most of the points. It could be he's the guy there now.
And so there's going to be kids that we don't talk about or never heard of that are going to go to Boston College next year and not play in the OHL. Yeah. Which I'm super excited for. Great for college hockey. Sucks for kids like my brother. But, you know, it's kind of where the game's going, and it's good for growth. But I do feel for the kids that are 17 that want to go play college hockey, and maybe, or they went to
looking at playing somewhere in juniors and then going on.
They went to the USHL to want to play in college. Yeah. And then now they're like, well, shit. Like,
now I'm competing with Michael Misa and Matthew Schaefer and all these. Gavin McKenna. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it sucks. But, yeah, James Higgins, 8th overall to the Seattle Kraken. I think it's a great fit for them. Seattle, obviously new team. They've been kind of making the playoffs, not making the playoffs. Like, just weird spot. Who they picked last year? They picked was it Teach is at Utah.
I couldn't even tell you. I don't know.
I can see his face. I don't know his name. But yeah, I think James Higgins goes to, if I'm the Kraken's GM, that's who I'm picking.
Seattle's kind of an interesting team. Sorry to harp on this, but
they are.
I feel like they don't really have much of an identity as a team. They don't have their number one guy. Their guy to look at and say, you're our best player. It's probably Matty Beniers right now. Yeah. But that's not, I mean,
he's not, yeah.
He's what, 3 years into his NHL career. Yeah, like, that's not, that shouldn't be your top guy. They kind of need somebody who they can, draft, pick from the start, given they did that with Matty Beniers, and then develop him into their high scoring center, high scoring number one player type of thing.
Yeah. If he falls that far, that's a great pick.
Yeah. I don't think Seattle, if he does fall that far, I do not think Seattle will be upset with that pick.
No.
I think any team past, 6 or 7 that kind of skips out on James Higgins might be making a mistake.
Yeah.
I just see Boston not picking him due to the size and kind of physicality that he doesn't bring.
Yeah.
But a team like Seattle, who has some bigger, more physical players, I think they can sacrifice that and take a skill guy.
Yeah.
Just
and I think they need
talent.
it too. They need it. They need some talent. All right. 9th overall, Buffalo Sabres. Yeesh.
Buffalo?
You guys,
I think that from what I've been looking at here, this has been the hardest to pick on this list for me.
Yeah.
Because they're just stuck in this realm of mediocrity where they're not going to make the playoffs. They probably won't make the playoffs next year. But they have good pieces, right? You have one of the best defensemen in the world in Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah.
You have good pieces when it comes to your defense and your goalie. You have Devin Levi, who's still one of the best goalie prospects in the NHL.
Yeah.
You're going to pick a forward here. You could pick down a little bit, and there's a ton of defensemen outside of the top 10 that will be impactful NHL players. Jackson Smith, Kayshawn Aitchison, and then Logan Hensler, Radim something. Merkda, I think is his name.
Yeah.
But I don't think you pick a defenseman in this spot. I think you're going to pick the best player available. And to me, that's Victor Eklund. It's just one of those things where that team is in such a weird spot where they have such a mix of talent and just no future, no identity whatsoever. We talk about teams with no identity. Seattle, Buffalo are probably the two at the top of the list. They have zero identity as a team.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Buffalo, though, they have their core. They have
the pieces in place, but
they just can't.
None of them are really forwards.
Yeah.
I mean, Tage Thompson.
Yeah.
But you need forwards to win at the NHL. You need scoring. And I think Victor Eklund would help that out a lot.
Yeah.
Talented left winger. He's going to be able to slot in pretty much anywhere in the lineup.
Right.
He's responsible defensively. He's William Eklund's brother.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of the times the younger brother ends up being better.
True.
Which I hope that isn't the case.
Except for my brother.
Either way, I think that's who they pick.
Yeah. Two-way
forward, be responsible in the defensive zone. Can still put up points. He's been producing in Allsvenskan, which is the SHL's minor league, their junior league. I don't know. I don't know how it works in Sweden, but I think they're going to pick Victor Eklund.
All right, Victor Eklund off the board to the Buffalo Sabres. I thought you were going to go Roger McQueen there, but Anaheim Ducks, 10th overall. This is, I mean, as a Sharks fan, this is getting to be a scary team. I think a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Especially with Ryan Poehling.
The pick
that pushes them over the edge.
They got us. I mean, I think the Sharks prospect, not just prospect pool, but overall like talent, picks, everything like that.
Yeah.
I think that we got them. But again, not to make this about the Sharks, but 10th overall. Again, I think this 10th overall pick here could be a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Roger McQueen's still on the board. I wouldn't let him fall too far. But there's a lot of defensemen after this. Jackson Smith is one, not the best one, but it could be. I don't know. I like Roger McQueen as their pick, 10th overall, just because I would say their best forward prospect rookie is Philly Hater. Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Oh my god.
Why am I blanking on his name too? Oh God, this is embarrassing.
Boston College. Oh my God, this is bad. This is bad. Who did they trade in Philly to get Cutter Gauthier? There we go.
They traded his defenseman.
Mason McTavish?
No. This is
Jamie Drysdale.
There we go.
Okay.
This is
Cutter
bad.
Gauthier.
We're out of it today.
No.
We're lost.
I've been so locked in on Stanley Cup Finals, which we'll get to.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. So yeah, they got Gauthier, gave away Jamie Drysdale and a second round pick. So they still have Mason McTavish, who's a forward. So I guess who is their do they have any defensive prospects?
They actually have a pretty deep prospect pool when it comes to defensemen. I need to look up.
Yeah, I'm curious. They rank. Oh God, their number one is Beckett Seneke. Is their number one prospect?
He is honestly pretty similar to Roger McQueen in the way he plays.
Was he?
Beckett Seneke is he was their kind of off the board third overall pick last year. Right. He, from my understanding, had like a 5-inch growth spurt in his draft year.
Oh yeah,
he was like 6'4" or 6'5".
Yeah.
He's a massive fucking dude.
Yeah.
And that kind of catapulted him up the rankings because he filled into that size role really well.
Yeah. And
didn't have like a lag in kind of filling out his body and getting comfortable with how big he'd gotten.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing with Roger McQueen where he's a bigger forward who has a lot of talent and has not really been stunted in that. I'm pretty sure he's kind of the same like model where he's grown a ton in the last couple of years. Is a little bit rawer when it comes to talent.
Yeah.
Might take a little bit longer to kind of fill out and get comfortable and be able to produce at a high level. But they're very similar players, so I could see that.
Okay.
Taking a shot at another player to play with.
Yeah.
Who they currently have built around. Mason McTavish and those guys.
I think it's either if I'm the Ducks GM, you either take Roger McQueen or you pick one of the three defensemen that are left on the board.
Yeah.
Radim Murtka, Jackson Smith, and Keishon Atkinson.
Yeah.
I think you take either one of those four guys. But yeah, the Ducks, I think, are in a good spot, and I think this pick, 10th overall pick, they got to draft right.
Yeah.
You got to hope that this player pans out. But yeah, I mean, I guess the Ducks have Leo Carlson too. I forgot about him. Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier.
Yeah.
Mason McTavish. Yeah, I mean, they have a pretty solid core. I mean, I think it wouldn't be bad. I don't think it'd be bad to take a reach at a defenseman, and it's not even reaching; it's dropping 2 spots.
So the thing about the defensive core, they have Olen Zellweger, who is one of the best young defensemen in the NHL because he's a full-time NHLer now.
Yeah.
Pavel Mintyukov, I don't know, and Jackson Lacombe, who are all very, very, very top-notch defensive prospects. And then outside of that, they have Lanoa, and a couple other. They have a bunch of pretty high-quality defensive prospects.
Yeah.
They were able to. We just talked about him. Got traded for Cutter Gauthier.
Oh.
I'm so bad
Jamie
with
Drysdale.
the Ducks. Yeah, they traded Jamie Drysdale like it was nothing. He wasn't really panning out. Was injured a lot, but that's still a top quality young player.
Yeah.
That they were able to trade away because they have so much depth in that defensive position.
Right.
So I could see him taking another shot at a forward.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see it. There's no goalies that are anywhere near the top 10.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd say they should probably take a shot at a goalie. But even that, like, they don't really need to have another shot in the dark at a goalie.
Yeah.
They have 2 pretty good goalies there.
Yeah.
Whether John Gibson sticks around or not.
Yeah, I don't think it will. All right. Well, yeah, that gives us our top 10. We're not going to do further than that just because, frankly, I don't know enough about these bottom players to really make picks for and be entertaining for you guys. So
our top 10 draft list that we have here, we have number 1 overall, New York Islanders select Michael Misa. Number 2, the San Jose Sharks select Matthew Schaefer. Number 3, Chicago Blackhawks select Porter Martone. Number 4, Utah Hockey Club selects Caleb Desnoyers. Number 5, the Nashville Predators select Anton Frundell. Number 6, Philly selects Jake O'Brien. Number 7, Boston, Brady Martin. Number 8, Seattle gets James Higgins. Number 9, Buffalo gets Victor Eklund. Number 10, Anaheim gets Roger McQueen.
Pretty solid. I think this draft is going to be...
It's going to be interesting.
Draft.
It's probably not going to look nothing like this.
Nope.
I can almock guarantee it.
Yeah. They never do.
They never do.
I think last year was a little bit... Beckett Seneke. God, I keep...
Nobody
nobody
had that picked out.
Yeah.
0 people had that picked.
Yeah. And frankly, these scouts watch a hell of a lot more of these prospects than we ever will.
Yes.
So they know what they're doing.
We're just shooting in the dark.
Exactly. We really are. But yeah, I think that top 3, the 1, 2, 3 prospects is where we'll see what happens and how these guys turn out. I'm sure there'll be some stud in the top 10 that we talked about that is just going to be a great player.
I haven't played anywhere near enough NHL 25 to know who has the franchise potential or low franchise, high elite potential in this draft.
Exactly,
but,
yeah. You could ask Scott.
You could ask Scott.
Yeah, he might know. Scott, leave a comment of who you think who is the
Give
most
us a phone line.
potential.
Give us a call.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Stanley Cup Final. God, so good to see just the Oilers coming up short, you know. I really have not understood that team. They are a fantastic team. I think I was kind of writing them off a lot. Mm-hmm. But this is kind of a big thing. I think the Oilers were a team with flaws, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think the Panthers were a team without flaws. They had 0 flaws. I think their only flaw is that they take too many penalties.
Yeah.
And I think they really hunkered down that series and did not take too many penalties.
Well, it's crazy how just kind of put together after the first 3 games.
Yeah.
It was crazy how put together they looked and how disciplined they were playing.
Yes.
Maybe the whistles were put away a little bit more than they would have been. I think there were too many whistles at the beginning of the series.
Right.
I think you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. Let the boys play.
Right.
But I just found it crazy how well they kind of put that together and just overall stopped being undisciplined. Right. Yeah. And when you have guys like Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett, they obviously know what they're doing when it comes to when they play on the edge and when they don't. Mm-hmm. But there is a fine line between playing on the edge and playing recklessly. Yeah. And I think there are times throughout these playoffs and there were times throughout the season where it looked like the Panthers were just playing recklessly.
Yeah. They're just kind of getting in the head. They're bullying. Yeah. That's what they do.
Bullying teams, but then they really kind of settled that down last 3 games, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say after game 3.
And the Oilers couldn't get anything from them.
Nope.
Which I think that kind of changed the whole momentum of the series.
Yeah.
The Oilers, I think in the first 2 games, they outplayed the Panthers. Yeah. The Panthers snuck out a win in overtime in game 2. The rest of the series was all Cats.
Yes.
It was all Panthers.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, even with the speed that Edmonton brings.
Yeah.
And the fact that Florida, frankly, is a little bit of a slower team.
Yeah.
They were really able to control hockey games. Yeah. Just by playing the way that they play, they forced Edmonton into playing, slow, controlled, dump and chase hockey.
Well, they're the Panthers' forecheck is unbelievable to watch. Ever since 2023, even I remember watching them and just being in awe of how great they stick to that forecheck and just can shut down teams. And I think they just have the Oilers' number. And just watching them be able to shut down Connor McDavid, and by they, I mean the best defenseman in all of the NHL, Gustav Forsling. He is. I'm sorry. I don't care if your defenseman gets 35 goals or 60 points. Yeah. That's not what I want out of a defenseman. No. It's nice to have, and no shade to Cale Makar. He plays great defensively. But I want a guy who's going to shut down the best player on the other team. That is your job as a defenseman, is to shut down the best player on the opposing team.
Gustav Forsling will always be your goalie's best friend.
Yes.
It is insane what he does. I don't want to say McDavid looked like a non-factor because I think he had 7 points in the series.
Yeah.
They were almost all in games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And after that, it didn't look like he couldn't do anything. I think I might have mentioned this last week on the podcast. That normal kind of McDavid skate around everybody, look like you're not really trying, and somehow get through every single player on the ice and pass backdoor for a while. He did not look like he could do that. No. I have never seen Connor McDavid lose the puck or get stripped off of the puck as much as I've seen. I watch a lot of Oilers games.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. Especially in these playoffs. I watched the entire LA Kings Oilers series.
Yeah. I think like regular season.
No,
you don't.
God, no. I watch them when they play the Sharks.
Yeah.
But it is just ridiculous because I've never seen Connor McDavid look like he can't do anything with the puck, and he just got smothered the entire series.
He looked like a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah.
Not number one.
He
looks like a fantastic player. He looked human.
Leon looked better than him this series.
Yeah, I agree.
Which Leon Draisaitl is still, he's a top 2 player in the NHL, frankly. I think at this point I can stop just blindly hating Leon Draisaitl because of a fantasy league that I lost a couple years ago.
Well, it's growth.
He looked better than
the
McDavid.
Character arc on this season. If you go back to episode 1 of the season, Alan had some fighting words for Leon Draisaitl.
I think at this point he won the Maurice Richard. If the Oilers won, he would have been my pick for the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
Set the record for most overtime goals in a playoff run.
Yeah.
He looked like somebody who was the best player in the world.
Yep.
Connor McDavid did not, which is insane to say.
Yeah. He's obviously super fast, super skilled. And I think the issue for the Oilers is that you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is a piece to that puzzle.
Yeah.
And which is what you need, frankly. But everyone else looked like they were just it's probably easier for Gustav Forsling to play against Connor McDavid than anyone else, because who do you have to worry about on the first line?
Connor McDavid. That's all.
If Leon Draisaitl's out, sure, you got to worry about him.
Then you have Aaron Ekblad taking care of him.
Right.
And it's like Aaron Ekblad's still a legitimate defenseman.
Yeah. But I thought that the Florida Panthers' third line defenseman pair with Mikko Mikkola and I forget who else he plays with, but they looked better than Bouchard and Darnell Nurse. Yeah. Which is you're going to lose every series if the third pairing defenseman on the other team is better than your first, playing better than the first pairing. Or no, it was Bouchard and Ekholm. They just looked. Bouchard and Ekholm. You can throw Nurse in there too.
I think Ekholm didn't play very well this series, and given he was injured for most of the playoffs.
True.
You're not expecting him to come in and dominate if you have a guy he's getting back from injury. It took Matthew Tkachuk 3 series to look good again, frankly.
True.
So I wouldn't have expected him to be, this huge deciding factor just because he came back, but he did not look like himself.
No, he didn't.
That did not help. The Panthers are just a team that's going to capitalize on every single mistake you make.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if they take 40 shots in a game or if they take 10.
Yeah.
They're probably going to score 5 goals either way. Mm-hmm. And they will make you pay for dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
And when you're in the Stanley Cup Final, frankly, you can't make dumb mistakes. Nope. You're one of the 2 best teams in the NHL.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be making mistakes with the puck. And there was a lot of just kind of arrogant and dumb turnovers that would happen. Passes that shouldn't have been made through the middle of the ice. If you're the Florida Panthers have the best forecheck in the NHL, one of the best forechecks we've probably ever seen in the NHL.
Yeah.
That team, it's a well-oiled machine. Mm-hmm. You have to get the puck out of your zone.
Yeah.
No matter what, you have to make quick passes. You have to go get pucks, make quick passes, and get out of your zone. Otherwise, the Florida Panthers are going to score goals on you.
Yeah.
And they did every single game off of stupid turnovers off the forecheck.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the Edmonton Oilers defense isn't good enough to be able to get the puck out. Jake Wallman looked awful in that series.
Yes. Thank God.
Yeah.
We won
got a first round pick out of him.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that the Edmonton Oilers did not look. They won 2 games. It did not look like they were on the same level as the Florida Panthers.
They won 2 overtime games.
I think the Edmonton Oilers last season looked much better than the Edmonton Oilers did this season.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
obviously it's going to happen with McDavid put up, 41, 42 points in the playoffs. But
that's the issue, though. That is the issue for the Oilers, is that all you have is McDavid and Draisaitl. And if they're not performing, they had earlier in the seasons, they had third-line depth scoring and stuff like that.
Corey Perry dried up.
But, you get shut down. And we said this in the first round that I think in our predictions we were saying that, they're very top-heavy. They don't have any depth. And sure, they scored against the LA Kings with depth scoring, and it worked against the Knights, and it worked against the Dallas Stars, who were banged up. Yeah. But then you come to the big boy league. Yeah. And the Eastern Conference, which clearly is the strongest conference. Mm-hmm. I know we were saying all these teams in the West look great. These could all win the Stanley Cup. But frankly, it was always the Cats. Yeah. It was always the Cats. I saw them play round 1. They beat the shit out of Tampa. And
that was the most convincing series. Yeah. I genuinely thought Tampa was going to win the Cup this year. Yeah. I thought they looked over the top. Mm-hmm. And they came out and just stomped the Lightning, pardon me. Yeah. Stomped them. It didn't even look close, which is insane because you look at that roster and you're like, how does that team get beat 4-1? Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. And all credit to the Maple Leafs. I think, went to 7 with them. Cool. You guys can hang the banner. Yeah.
But we won 3 games in the second round.
And frankly, the Maple Leafs, I feel like, just got a hot start on the Panthers. Yeah. It was a 2-0 series.
They came out looking good.
Yeah, they came out looking great. And
they won a round. They came out hot at home.
Yes, correct. But, again, I think a lot of these teams in the finals or the Stanley Cup had flaws. The Panthers don't have any flaws. And I think also for Eastern Conference teams, kind of switching vibes a little bit. But for the East, I think you can point fingers at the Maple Leafs and be like, you guys need to figure something out because you can't do anything. Yeah. You need to figure something out. You can point at the Hurricanes. You guys need to figure something out. You can point at the Lightning and say, you guys need to figure something out. But all 3 of those teams have something in common in the fact that they've been bounced by the Panthers at least twice in the last 3 years. Yeah. And I think it's not that it's their fault. I think it's just that the Panthers are that much better than everyone in the East. And I'm glazing hard. I am.
Well, they've won 11 out of their last 12 playoff series.
Right. That you just can't.
Tough.
Yeah. And I think if it was a healthy Panthers team in 2023, I think that series is a whole lot different. Obviously, it's playoff hockey. Injuries happen, and you have to be lucky enough that you don't get injured. Yeah. Playing in the Stanley Cup Final, and also the Oilers are missing Zach Hyman too. Yeah. Zach Hyman is McDavid's just money-making machine.
I think the series would have been different with Zach Hyman. Mm-hmm. I still don't think that pushes them over the edge, though.
They're still flawed.
It's too much reliant on the defense, and your goalie cannot stop a fucking beach ball in the playoffs. Yeah. I don't know. You can say everything you want about how, the Oilers, it wasn't Stuart Skinner's fault. They were destined to win or to lose anyways. You have to have a goalie that can steal you a game here and there. Mm-hmm. I want to say he had 7 wins in the playoffs. 3 of them were shutouts, which is good for you, right? You were awful in the finals, which is the most important time of year. Mm-hmm. You got pulled in 3 out of the 4 series you played in. Yeah. You got straight taken out, and the other goalie started. That's not good enough. Yeah. And
the other goalie is an AHL career goalie.
Yes. He's young. He has time to develop. Yeah. It's not going to be on the Oilers. No. I can tell you, if he suits up for another game as an Edmonton Oiler, I'd be shocked. Yeah. They need to do something. That is the biggest thing for this offseason. They need to do something with their goaltending. Yeah. Because
especially if they want to keep McDavid.
Yeah, you got to do. At this point, I don't know if you saw the interview with McDavid where he was like, if I see that we have a good chance to win for a long time, then I'll resign. Basically is what he said. Yeah. That to me signifies a player is mentally checked out of your team. Yep. like, yes, you obviously want to win. That's the most important thing.
He also
winning.
dropped it, that being said, which is terrifying if you're an Oilers fan.
Connor McDavid, he's 9 years into his NHL career, 10 years into his NHL career.
Yes.
And he has all of the accolades you could ever want, every single personal accolade you could ever want. He has more individual trophies than Sidney Crosby. And we're talking about, he's a guy that I put on my Mount Rushmore as being a top 4 player of all time.
Crosby,
top 3, I think, to me.
Yeah.
He has all the individual accolades. It's the winning. Mm-hmm. You have to do whatever you can to make sure that he wins an Oilers uniform, so he wants to stick around.
Yeah.
And it's just not enough is being done. I think the cap being raised is going to help him out a lot.
But you cannot take, in this day and age, you cannot take the selfish deal. And this is not basketball where you can have a star player take over a series. You are getting 20 minutes of ice time as a forward. If you're lucky, like if you're Connor McDavid, you're getting 20 minutes of ice time.
Yeah.
There's 3 periods of hockey. This is a very, very team sport, and that's what I honestly love most about the Panthers is they are the most complete team.
Yes.
I know we talked about the Capitals being a tight locker room. That helps out, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, we were wrong. They lost second round. Mm-hmm. But the Panthers are another team that's super tight in that locker. Like they play so well together as a team, and I don't think the Oilers are much of a team. It's more of it reminds me of like AAA bullshit hockey, AA hockey.
Yeah.
That you have one guy, superstar kid that is going to go out and try to win.
I don't know if you saw at the end of Game 6, Paul Maurice put the 4th line out because they're the team that he said that they're the guys who got them there. I think I forget what exactly happened. They might have scored the winner against Toronto or something like that.
Yeah.
No matter what, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, if you're winning or losing, you want to hold a lead or you want to get back into the game. The only thing you can do is put McDavid and Draisaitl on the line together and hope that it works out.
Yeah.
Right? Which a lot of the times it does. Yeah. You're talking about the 2 best players in the world.
Yeah.
That is not a winning
it's
mentality.
Not gonna work when you're playing the best team.
No.
7 game, like in a 7-game series, when you get to play these team over and over and they figure you out.
Yeah.
It looks like the Cats after game 3 figured them out and we're like,
yeah,
all right, you're done. You're not scoring ever again. And I mean, I just think McDavid, Leon already makes, what is he making next year? Like $13 million?
I think it's 14.
$14 million a year. If you're McDavid and you sign a $15 million contract in Edmonton, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are never going to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Frankly, like you can't in this, and I just get so fed up about it because I think it's more of it's a problem in the NFL right now with money and people being selfish. And, I'm not against players making good money because you've worked your whole life for here. I frankly think most of the money should go to the team and not the owners majority of the money should go to the players, 100%. But with the cap right now, and you have to be bought in as a team. You're not taking a cut to save management money. You're taking a cut so that you can play with a good team.
Yes, there's a cap.
Yes.
There's a salary cap.
Yeah.
That cap should go up, I think.
Yeah, correct.
And every player in the NHL should get a pay raise. But having 2 guys that are probably going to be making close to $30 million.
Yeah.
That's a third of your cap.
Yep. You're not going
to be going towards 2 players.
Yeah.
You have the rest to fill out a roster to beat the Florida Panthers. I don't think you can do it. Nope. And especially, here's a thought for you. Do you think Brad Marchand sticks around in Florida?
I think he wants to. All the videos on Twitter of him saying he's going to stay for 4 more years. Did you see those?
No.
Yeah, so they're
like the 4 more years, chat.
Yeah, well, so there's a video on Twitter of him. A fan goes, he's in the club or whatever, and a fan goes 1 more year, and he turns around, shakes his head, and goes 4 more years. So I think him, Bennett, I think Bennett's going to stay. Clearly, he said that.
Yeah, I guarantee you Bennett stays.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing in Florida. Here's the other thing. And I was doing the math.
This last week.
Yeah, we did this last week. you can take a pay cut and stay in Florida, whereas you'd have to get paid, it's like 15% more to make the same money in Edmonton, right? You can take that pay cut, and Sam Bennett, he's coming off of back-to-back Stanley Cups. Why would you switch it?
Yeah. Why would you leave?
Like, they have a beautiful opportunity with frankly, a young core, a younger team that are all in their late 20s to go on and win for the next 5 more years.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
The Panthers have $19 million in cap space.
That's nuts.
And they just won a Stanley Cup. They have Sam Reinhart, Matthew Tkachuk, Alexander Barkov. Ekblad's a free agent this year. They have a fantastic core. You still got Bob.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of...
And Bob, if you think about it, I think he's great. Coming up towards the end of his contract.
I think 2 more years, yeah.
And
he's getting paid $10 million a year, and so is Barkov.
I guarantee you, Bob will probably... I don't think he'll retire after 2 years.
No.
He's what, 34?
He's 37.
He's 37. Okay. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's still going to be a serviceable goalie in 2 years. He's not going to be a $10 million goalie.
No.
He's going to get they're going to get huge money back for that.
Yeah.
They can honestly trade him right now and probably get some good value for him. I don't think they will.
No.
There's a lot of opportunity for guys coming off the books and who would be re-signed for cheaper contracts.
Yeah.
In the coming years. Brad Marchand is not going to, I think he made, what, $6 million right now?
Yeah, I think so.
He's not making $6 million next year. As much as I love Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
He'll probably take a pay cut to stay with Florida.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Yep. You live on the beach.
Yeah.
And you just won a Stanley Cup.
Also, Chicklets today.
Yeah.
They did, I think it was live, and look it up if you haven't seen it yet, but there's a photo of like a screenshot of them recording, and it's got Biz Witt, Keith Yandel, and then Brad Marchand joins on his phone. He's in a pool on a floaty with AirPods in, just talking to Biz and Witt, and just totally because they're all Oilers sucker offers besides Yandel, but Brad Marchand is just like now that he's away from the Bruins, like I've always liked him and been like that. I know like he's annoying. Yeah, watching him play for the Bruins, but I know if he was on the Sharks, like
I'd love him. He's that player who you hate.
Yeah.
When you play against him, 5-6 times a season, and in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But when he is on your team, he is your favorite player.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've never disliked Brad Marchand. He's funny as hell. Yeah. His antics are hilarious. Yeah. He licked Ryan Callahan. That's fucking hilarious. Like I don't care how you look at it. True. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That team.
Yeah, that team. It's just like so, I don't know. If you are an Eastern Conference fan and your team got bounced by the Panthers, you probably hate them. We're in the West, we're the Sharks, we suck. Yeah. So it's kind of fun to watch these guys hope that this can be us in the future, kind of like.
They were bad for 20 years. Give them their flowers. Let them win.
And people like even in our group chat for hockey, they were like, Panthers have enough Stanley Cups. Like it's time for the Oilers to win.
They have one.
They have one Stanley Cup. How many?
The Oilers, they almost 5-peated. Yeah. They won 5 and 6 years in the 80s. They have enough.
They have plenty of Stanley Cups. I know it's not been recent, but I don't really give a shit.
You know who doesn't have enough Stanley Cups?
The Sharks.
The San Jose Sharks. Let the Sharks win. Let the boys win.
Yeah.
Give us a charity cup.
Just give it to us. But yeah, I think shout out Vitek Vanacek and Nico Sturm for winning.
And Jonah Gadjkovic.
Yes, him too. Yeah. Awesome.
Former Sharks. 3 former Sharks have their name on the cup.
Every year.
Again.
Every year. It's every year. But yeah, I think just watching them. Did you see the live stream with Barkov and Reinhart?
Yes.
Summer Rae is just like them having
Anton Lundell getting hooked up.
Yeah.
Did you see the Matthew Tkachuk tweet?
Yeah. I'll read it to everyone who.
I think you just tagged Summer Rae in the clip of the live stream, right?
No. He said, I'll read it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but he deleted it. What? Oh wait, no, he didn't. Did he? Wait, what is this? It's not showing in chronological order. Basically, he tagged Summer Rae and was like, "Hey, Anton Lundell is a super good guy, blah, blah, blah." Like, I saw a picture. Someone captured his like stats for the playoffs, and it was like 7 goals, 21 assists, so many points, and then it crossed out the 21 assists and did 22 assists. For that tweet. He's an assist machine. But,
that's funny.
Yeah, the team's just like they're so fun to watch, and you can hate on the fan bases being outside, and there's like a group of people. And sorry, they're not Toronto with 50 million people in the parade. But guess what? You're never going to have a parade. So I don't know.
Their parade's
why.
on the beach.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. They're on the beach. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't
Fort
care
Lauderdale.
how big their parade would be for the Maple Leafs. They're never going to win. So
yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Not with the score.
Nope. Which, brings us, I feel like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
About an hour now. But yeah, I think next week is going to be, what's next week? I think next week is
Draft and then free agency start.
Yeah. So we'll go over next week. We'll go over free agency will be fun. We'll go over the draft breakdown. We can look at it more and see how everything, turned out.
Oh, we are filming the day before
I know free agency
starts.
Let's do 2 episodes next week. Maybe do like end of the week. Or we wait. I think we should wait the full week because then we can kind of give.
Sometimes it takes days.
Yeah, it's not going to be right on the 1st that Mitch Marner is going to sign with the team.
No.
He could, honestly, I was thinking about this. He could be traded today and we're going to miss.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Comes out tomorrow. We're going to miss the entire.
I think he'll get traded at the draft, to be completely honest.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Utah Hockey Club. That would launch Toronto's rebuild.
Ooh, I like that.
That's just a thought. I think he fits well there too. There's been words of him going around saying that Utah might be the place that he'd sign. I don't think he would sign Utah, but if he's traded there,
I think Toronto needs a trade and sign.
Yeah,
they need to agree on something just so they can get something back from him because, I think you need to let Marner walk. Again, we talked about this a lot, but yeah.
Anyways,
we'll see.
Yep.
It will be very interesting. This draft, I think, will have some fireworks, so tune in. I don't know what channel. I hope it's not on like NHL Network because there's no way, right?
Let's look.
We got the computers and the internet at our disposal, so let's look that up.
The interwebs.
Channel. Just so you guys know where to watch it. It'll be on ESPN. Okay, cool.
Oh, perfect.
First round will be televised on ESPN. Then 2 through 7 will be on NHL Network, which honestly...
And ESPN Plus, too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Rounds 2 through 7 you can check on your phone.
Yep.
It's not anything crazy. But first round is always going to be super fun, especially those top 10 picks.
Mm-hmm.
See if we were right, see if we were wrong. But...
the problem is Matthew Schaefer is going to go first overall, and then I'll be upset for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'll be crying. But yeah, next week it'll line up perfectly. So we'll have an episode for the draft, and then the following episode we're going to have free agency, and then comes some fun stuff.
Yep.
But till then, we're going to tease some stuff here. And we're going to slow drip it.
Mm-hmm.
Because after the free agency episode, we can kind of fully announce it.
Yeah.
But we do have an exciting announcement coming up. And I'm excited for everyone to see everything. But how should I tease this? Because I don't want to give it away too much, but I want to.
We're Utah Hockey Clubbing.
We're Utah Hockey Club, and I like that. I like that. We are Utah Hockey Club, and take that what you will. But you got to keep tuning in to hear the rest of the news.
Mm-hmm.
So, and watch to the end of the episode. So we got you guys. If you're interested, you just got to keep watching. But
be some fun stuff coming up throughout the summer too.
Yep. Yeah.
Doing a lot of stuff outside of hockey.
Yeah.
Maybe get some on ice filming done.
Yeah.
We should do that little breakaway challenge. Show off how bad we are.
Oh my God. Dude, that'd be fun. Like me versus you.
Yeah.
Goalie. That'd be fun.
We get Brandon.
Actually.
We get Brandon out there. Show off your brother.
Yeah. Yeah. We could
Get him
drafted.
All right. We need to get on the ice ASAP.
Yeah, we need to get him. But yeah, everyone, thank you for listening. Hit subscribe. All right. It's end of playoffs. Let's see what we hit. I'm going to extend it because I don't think we hit 100. Because you guys that did subscribe, you're awesome. The ones that aren't subscribed, you suck.
Fuck you. Never come back. No, I'm kidding.
We hate you.
Just
Okay.
kidding. Please
we got
subscribe.
88 subs. So we're
Sweet.
12 away, and we're going to push that boundary a little bit further and say one more week. Just get us. We're trying to hit 100. If we can hit 12 in one game, that would be insane. Would love to see that. But yeah. You got anything else, Alan?
I don't really have anything else.
All right. Well, we've got a fun week of hockey. It's always like kind of depressing when Stanley Cup's over, but the next couple weeks are always super fun.
Yep.
The rest of July and August is kind of bland, but then September comes around and you've got preseason hockey. So
Yep.
yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening today. Again, hit subscribe, follow. If you're watching on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. We're almost at 700 followers there. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week. You have a great rest of your week. Peace.
Peace.